What's up, everybody? Kalfka here, and today we're going to go over a few things that I wish would change in Path of Exile 2. I love the game, but let's see if we could change. But first, I want to give you this tip. This is a very important tip while trading. So I seen this in a video. I'm not sure which one it was, but when you're actually trading, the problem is right now everyone's listing everything as a divine orb. So that could be an issue because I haven't seen a divine orb in days of farming, right? So I have a bunch of exalted orbs still. So what you could do is you could go into filters, and then at buyout price, it's in trade filters right here, change relative to exalted orb. So now when you search for something like an energy shield chest, it will only show exalted prices. So we could even up the ante a little bit and make it more expensive. So let's put this to 70 and then these 30, because this will show you the difference in prices because things are going to go up here in a second. Actually, there's some pretty good prices on these chests. Let's go. All right, let's do a really expensive one. All right, so you can see here, people are actually still selling stuff for a ton of exalted orbs, but the problem is everyone's using so much divine orbs, no one's filtering it correctly. So you could see you could still buy a nice chest with 20 exalted orbs. This is a really nice chest right here if you need fire resist. So make sure you're filtering. If you don't have a divine orb, you're filtering with the exalted orbs. All right, so first off, we're in the trials on the screen, and man, I still haven't got my 4th ascension. We're actually on the 4th floor. It took me 24 minutes to get through there. I think that it is way too long to get through the trials. They need to shorten it up a little bit. The Banes, man, there is some terrible Banes, and I think you get a little bit too much of the Banes. Right now I have 15% less movement speed, and that is absolutely detrimental. That makes the last boss almost impossible. I got to him, did about 1/3 damage on him, and it was really rough. I got Gauntlet like 4 times on the last run. Gauntlet isn't terrible in the 4th floor. 1 through 3, the Gauntlet sucks. So I don't pick the Gauntlet at all, but I didn't mind the Gauntlet in the 4th floor. I thought it was actually not that hard. So also another quick tip, do not do stuff that gets rid of your sacred water. If you're really trying to get through the trial, make sure you're buying stuff from the vendors. The vendor could give you some amazing things. I got a 50% honor one, and I had like 10k honor, but I didn't have a lot of honor, so I ended up only with about 2200 on the boss with 15% less movement speed. That hurt. I think they need to shorten up the trials, and then also when you're in a group, if one person gets hit, everybody shouldn't lose honor. I do not like that. I wonder if they're doing that because of carries, but man, that is rough. Or if one person gets hit, take half of the other person's. Don't take the full amount. If someone gets hit, take half of everyone else. If that's a way to solve for someone not trying to carry people through the trials. So that would be a great change. Let's make it happen. All right, so on to the next thing. So grouping XP there's 2 different ways you could group, and I'm not sure if everyone knows this. You could group with someone and you go down to their level, or they come up to yours. So what happens is they won't get experience if they go down to your level. So you could run an 85 with a 50, but the 85 isn't going to get any experience if you do that content with the 85, which is fine. So, but the problem is right now is when you split up in a group, because we don't all need to stay together, because when we all stay together in a group, we can't see the floor and people end up dying because we have so much abilities on these characters that just fill up the screen. So we need a way to split up while grouping, so it makes it a little bit easier to map in a group. I think that would be really beneficial. So another thing with the on death effects, those need to go away. I've said this in every game. If you have to make the mobs harder or something like that instead, do that, because the on death effects really stink. Because you've done a great job of making this game so beautiful with casting animations that we can't see on the ground. We can't see that stuff when it actually falls down. So that would be huge. Really hope they do that. All right, so next thing is around crafting, and there's a quick fix to solve crafting. Please do this. This would be so amazing if we just did this one thing with crafting. All right, so right now I'll get an item and it has 4 great stats on it, and then I'll put 2 exalted orbs on it and it's trash, right? So they need to make an orb that allows you to lock in a stat. So I don't believe there is one. I looked around. I haven't got one of the orbs on my crafting tab, but I don't think that's it. But if you could make it rare, but so are these pieces. It stinks when you get 4 good stats and then you put 2 on there and they're just terrible. So if we could get this orb, and this would probably be the most expensive currency orb too, locks in the stats you want on your item to make it a beautiful item, I think that would make crafting a ton more enjoyable, because right now it's really hard to craft on the items you want to make better. So I think that would help out a lot. Let me know in the comments if you think so. Make sure you like the video, because we need this video to go viral so people could actually see it and the devs could see it. These are good changes. These are really good changes. All right, back on mapping, because that's the one change for crafting. There's probably some other things that people are going to comment about around crafting, but I think if we could lock in stats, that would be great. So let's get the orb that does that. An orb that drops that's rare, that locks in stats. All right, so mapping and so waystones, they just need to drop more often. I want to do tier 15s. That's all I want to do right now, and it is hard to get them. People are not really selling them. It's all a bunch of scam people in the trade trying to put it 1 exalted so they get a bunch lower because the farmers need him. The farmers are putting everything as 1 exalted as a map, and when you look at it and you search for it, you can't even filter through it because it's all farmers putting 1 exalted for a tier 15 map. So we need either better drop rates on the waystones or just let us buy for gold. Like the vendor now, level 85, it shouldn't have level 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5 waystones in there. It's kind of ridiculous. So hopefully they make waystones a little bit easier to attend. But the map size on a lot of the campaign, especially in Act 3. So we're going to talk about the campaign a little bit, but I do enjoy the campaign. I had a great time doing the campaign. I almost want to level another character, but I'm just so itched to get perfect gear. It's tough. All right, so the map size on the end game, it's huge. So on tier 3, it takes forever to run through those maps, especially because most people don't have movement speed on their boots. So I feel like the campaign Act 3 just has way too big of maps. If 4, 5, and 6 are even better, or bigger, it's going to be really, really nuts. I think what happened in the campaign was a little goofy too, because it felt like Acts 1 through 3 were a lot harder than 1 through 3 again on Cruel. I hope that they fix that issue and it's a little bit easier 1 through 3 on release, and then 4, 5, and 6 is a bit harder. I want it to feel the other way around, right? That's how it should be. And then when you get into mapping, it feels even harder. It felt hard, easy until you got higher waypoints. Now, if you juice maps, it's hard again. So I feel like it's just a little bit backwards there. I feel like they could make some changes to where Act 1 is a little bit easier, especially for people that are going to be new to the game, because there's going to be a lot of people on launch eventually. Also, I do not like the full 10% is a lot, right? 10% especially when you can't find high tier maps. If you die, and I only died once yesterday when I was farming quite a bit, but 10% is like 2 bars. I think they should lower it to 5%, because that if there's a race to get to the end to 100 on launch, at least 5% will still set someone back quite a bit, where 10% just feels really bad. I hope they change that, and it's a little bit easier to get to level 90 or so. I could only imagine getting to level 100 unless you really juice these maps. And again, the problem is it's hard to find tier 15 waystones. I want to use all my orbs to juice maps, but I can't do it because I don't have any. I've been doing 14s, 15s, trying to get more 15s, and they just don't drop. It's rough out here for that. But all that, I'm really enjoying the sorceress. I made a detonate dead sorceress. So basically what I'm doing is blowing up my minions, but 75% of the time they don't actually blow up. And then here we are fighting the boss, but we just didn't get enough power on him. So there's some tweaks we made to the build that we should be able to get him next time. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to comment, subscribe, share the video so we could get this news out there. We really want to change some things in PoE 2. It is beta early access, so they'll probably make some good changes. I'm excited for the future of Path of Exile 2. Let's freaking go.